Yeah, good start to the week. Good practice today. Felt like a game week practice, and I think the team understands that our performance on Saturday will always be a direct reflection on how we practice, how we prepare. But you can still have a good week of practice. You still got to go out there and play good on Saturday. It just puts you in the best position. So we're excited to play. Got work to do yet.
Coach, you've talked a little bit about developing the offense throughout the summer. You got a lot of new faces in the wide receiver room, running back room, tight end room. Do you feel like that? At this point, now that we're in game week, that they've assimilated well into the system?
I think so. I think we've definitely made significant progress. Now, this will be our first game test, and every week is a new week. And at the end of the season, it's when you get your final grade. So we've had a number of new guys step up, and we've had good days. We still have things we got to get better at too.
Coach, stick with the wide receivers a little bit, and obviously Tajee Hudson has come in and has one career catch. Wasn't here in the spring. Talk about his development. I know you brought him up at the Sunbelt Media Days and just about his work ethic in the summer. It's translated now into fall camp as well. Just kind of talk about what you've seen from him throughout camp.
Yeah, he's a big target that works hard, and he's smart, and he's motivated. He moves well. At East Carolina, he ran with the ones until they brought a transfer in, and he elected to leave. He's had a good camp, been very consistent, and we were looking for answers outside. Reggie, we're expecting a big year out of Reggie, and Hudson stepped in at the, one spot at L, and I like our depth. I think we've got other new guys that are providing depth and capable of playing winning football.
Got a couple of rookies that are getting some playing time for you too, and Max Moss and Ymir Knight. Talk about those two. Have they surprised you at all about how they've kind of picked everything up?
Well, there's always an unknown with a freshman, but the Knight brothers have a tremendous work ethic, and they're fast and they can go, and they're both smart. So we kind of knew what we were getting from that standpoint, but he's caught the ball very consistently. He's run good routes, separated, picked the offense up fast. Moss has made plays also. And then it was nice to get Surratt back, who missed a lot of the summer. He had surgery in the spring, and capable of making a lot of plays too.
And can you just talk about your quarterbacks and just how they have progressed throughout camp? Have you been happy with how they have come to work every day for you?
Yeah, I think that position has made progress. I think Alonso has separated himself from the pack pretty significantly. Always was a talented guy. It was just a matter of kind of when everything would click. Now, practice and games are different, but he's a confident guy and can be an elite athlete, quick release, good arm, good head on his shoulders. Used to being kind of in the saddle. I think all the other guys have qualities. And, Jordan's got the experience and he understands concepts, can make quick decisions, mobility too. Brett made some progress this fall. And, Billy's always been, from an arm talent standpoint, as good as we've ever had in the program. So it's kind of where it's at.
With Alonso, just talk a little bit about him. And now he's had a couple of springs. Now it's his second fall camp, even though he's a redshirt freshman. When did you kind of see it click for him?
I think early on in camp, he put together some pretty decent practices. And after he took the ones the second day, and he's taken the ones every day since. And, and after about a week, you could see the progression and the kid's confidence and belief in him, which, we were definitely looking for that. So, he's going to walk into a challenging situation here. We got some tough contests on the road early in the season against some, pretty capable teams. But he's got weapons around him, and just don't try to do too much, which I have total confidence in Alonso, and the offense does too.
Yeah, and then, you talk about, moving forward from that, you're on the defensive side, safety is pretty veteran, but, Jacob Thomas is a guy who's kind of made plays last year. What have you kind of seen from him, especially in camp, kind of making kind of, pushing for playing time?
Well, that's a guy that did a lot of things in high school, and they moved him to quarterback his senior year, and, did some nice things last year for us, but, didn't play. He's got good size. He's got good ball skills. He plays faster when there's 11 guys on the field. Really has a good future.
When you get into a week like this and, the depth chart comes out and guys kind of know where they stand, is there a lot of coaching that goes into handling guys maybe who aren't happy with where they are right now or expect
There's some
more?
of that, especially the guys that are going to be on the scout team. But what you got to understand about the depth chart, I guess we're really not even required to put out a depth chart anymore. Because that thing's very fluid. I mean, there's competition daily. One guy may go down the scout team, one guy may come up, one guy may be a 2, and tomorrow he's a 3, or he's a 1. And that's what I think everybody on the team has to understand is you got to embrace your role today and do as great a job in your role for the football team, right? But there's still a lot of competition out there, even though the season started, for playing time and snaps.
You kind of mentioned how there's daily competition. Of course, there's weekly competition. Do you think that, some of the guys we see start week 1 against Bucknell, are those, maybe like, I don't want to call them like the de facto starters for the season, but do you think you'll try maybe some new looks, some younger guys, just to see how they do?
That's such a hypothetical question. I mean, we're putting our best 22 out on the field. That's what we're paid to do. And, our job is to put the best players out on the field. But by the same token, anybody that's capable of playing winning football, we'll find a role for you. If you're capable of playing winning football now, we'll find a role for you.
And then you mentioned earlier some newer faces on the team. I just wanted to ask you about one specifically, Phoenix Brawles, the transfer. Like, what have you seen out of him, during the offseason?
Smart guy. I think he really likes it here. We probably throw the ball a little bit more than where he came from. Good route runner. Crafty, knows how to set people up and separate, knows how to find the seams in the zone. Real dependable guy.
Coach, you talked in camp about the competition in the running back room. How have those guys and each other, all of them pushing one another, made that room better?
Well, that room's always had a great kind of karma for the last 5 to 7 years, really. And Kalon and Palmer and Van Horst have had all of them have really had good camps. Lawton was set back a little bit with a hand, but he's out there full go now. We're deep there, and they all pull for one another. And, hopefully it continues to be a real strength throughout the season.
Kind of going off of that, having Selman back this year after last year was kind of up and down with injuries. And what is it like to have him back, and how much more dynamic does he kind of make your offense, being that kind of guy that can play receiver but also come out of the backfield?
He's a playmaker, and he can run the ball too. My first year he started about 5 games at running back. So, he's a terrific space player. Make people miss, catch the ball. Good speed, good return guy. Smart player.
Obviously, a lot of guys back on defense. What have you seen on that side of the football throughout camp? Has it been kind of what you expected with so many veterans on that side?
I think we're settling in. When we lost Ukwu, there was a little bit of a depth concern, but we've had some people step up. I think we have enough able bodies there. The linebackers have been consistent. We've got experience at safety. The corners are all talented. And, when you go against each other, it's hard to judge sometimes, to be honest with you. They know your calls at the line of scrimmage. You get used to their tendencies. I think I feel good about our defense.
And then, Tyreek Tucker's a guy that didn't play a lot last year, but it seems like he's, had an opportunity to play on that D-line. What have you kind of seen from him in camp? And, just being a young guy, but having a lot of opportunity to play there.
He's improved as a football player. And glad to see it. And needs to keep improving because we're counting on him.
Talk about Bucknell a little bit. What do you see out of them? Obviously, these first games, there's a lot of unknown going into this year. But what do you expect to see from Bucknell?
Bucknell, they played Central Michigan last year early in the season, a 7-0 game at halftime. I believe they won their conference a couple years ago. New offensive coordinator, kind of an up-tempo spread, a lot of RPOs and shot plays, that kind of thing, which is different than what they've done in the past. So what offense are they going to bring to town is a question. And defensively, they do a nice job. They really do. They got a lot of different stuff. I mean, of course, we got all 11 or 12 games of them, so you see a lot of different stuff. But they got smart kids, and they're in the right places. And they're going to come in here, and they're going to fight us, and they're going to compete. And, we've just got to take care of business one play at a time. Let our pads do the talking.
You mentioned new offensive coordinator. Do you go back to where he was and look at that type of offense?
Defense has done that, yeah.
Yeah, there's one more. You talked about yesterday, you didn't know what the backup quarterback situation looked like. What does it come down to when you're kind of looking at that and making a decision of,
who gives you the best chance to win?
Yeah.
And before you win, you got to make sure you don't lose, that you don't lose the game by turning it over and doing dumb things. So.
Yeah, is there anything that you're looking to see out of somebody that you're going to put there? Is there anything that this week you make that decision, or is it kind of just a week-to-week thing that somebody could come up and down and,
I think competition's a good thing, and I think it's good for people to feel competition. But, I mean, if we had to play an hour from now, I would say Jordan McLeod would be the backup.